Hello everyone, it's Brian here with, unusually, a glass of wine. I was thinking about that and noting that the only other time I had a glass of wine while filming a video was when I did the episode of Spin on This with Steve and Gary. So that's it. This is a groundbreaking episode. There may also be interference from laundry. I don't know if you can hear the laundry machine going, but you know, there's some people in the vinyl community that have a drink seemingly every time they make a video. MGK Boston. Now, this is Vinyl Finds for early... Is it October already? Early October. There may be another one coming up at the end of October. Who knows? If you're left with the impression that all I do is buy records, you might be right. But I have only 6 records to talk about today. So let's start with this one. And I'll talk about this sleeve in a minute. But this record is from Canadian singer-songwriter Art Bergman. It's called Shadow Walk. So you see Art Bergman, Shadow Walk, pretty simple cover. Came out in 2023. The same year that Art won Canada's highest civilian award. He won the Governor General's Award in 2023. So look at this. This is the sleeve it came in. It says Toronto Rock. This is in the record store. I don't think that's accurate. He was born in Vancouver. He lived in Alberta for a while, and then he moved back to Vancouver, as far as I know. I don't think he lived in Toronto. He might have. If you know, you can tell me. But I think he's more of a West Coast artist. So calling it Toronto Rock is a bit wrong. Juno Award winner. Yeah, he had several nominations, and he did win a Juno Award. And then there's this ode to his wife who passed away. So the year prior to this album coming out, his wife Sherry passed away. And so this record is really, it's an honor of her. It's a reflection on that. It's mourning. It's sad. It's sort of uplifting in a way as well. It's all about his love for her. It's a really powerful record, which is quite good. I'm surprised it took me this long to get it. Now, Art Bergman started his career as a punk rocker in Canada with several bands. I guess the one he's most noted for is Young Canadians, and they had a sort of hit called Hawaii, which is a fun track. It's on YouTube. You can find it there. And then he started a solo career in 1988 with an album called Crawl With Me that coincidentally was produced by John Cale, and John Cale plays keyboards on that record and does some background vocals. So on the back of this record it says, "A legacy of love for we who live and who we lost." It's hard to see because of the color choices here, but that's the subtitle really. And as I say, a sad record. Now, he has been called Canada's Lou Reed, and I'm not sure that that's completely accurate. I do understand why people say that. And in fact, when I listened to this the first time, all I could think about for the first track or so was Lou Reed's Magic and Loss, which is Lou's record in memory of 2 friends that died. And so there's that similarity, but I'm not sure the Lou Reed comparison is right. On the other hand, he's been called Punk Leonard Cohen. I think that's an interesting statement because Art's lyrics are very poetic, and he has a very unusual voice in a way, a very punk voice. I think he's really good. And speaking of Leonard Cohen, it just occurred to me that he takes a Leonard Cohen lyric and kind of turns it on its head. If you know the Leonard Cohen song Anthem, which appeared on The Future from 1992, or 1992 I think, he sings, "There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Fantastic lyric, fantastic song. On this record, in the track Death of a Siren, Art sings, "There is no crack that lets in the light. There is no light to bridge this dark divide." So, a direct reference to Leonard Cohen, no question. In fact, I watched an interview with him, and he did reference the fact that it's a Leonard Cohen reference. Heavyweight vinyl, and I'd say this is really good. It doesn't have it's not a punk rock record by any means. He moved into more of just not mainstream, but more of a rock sound, singer-songwriter, and I think it's really good. There's some very quiet passages here, really good tracks. Raw Naked Monday is good. Love Cubed, and the aforementioned Death of a Siren, the intro track Jagged one is really great. So I think he's fantastic. I've liked everything he's done. I think he's really great, and a little underappreciated maybe. So number 2, we have a band from the greater Manchester area called, well, I've always said The Chameleons. This is Chameleons with no the. This is Arctic Moon, which came out in 2025. They date way back into the early 80s. I think they made music from 81 to 87, then they took a break, and there was a bit of time in the early 2000s. And then they reformed and have been touring, but this is the first LP since 2001. Although there are some live things that you can find. And 7 tracks on here. The only original member still with the band is Mark Burgess, who's called Vox on here. So I did read some reviews on this before I bought it, and the reviews seem to be at opposite ends of the spectrum. Some people don't like it, some people love it. One reviewer called this the best thing they've done. I'm not sure that's accurate. I'm not sure I would say that, but I am a member of a Chameleons group on Facebook, and the comments on there were really divisive. Some people slam this record as being terrible, other people love it. I've only listened to it a couple times, so I'm still making up my mind, but perhaps the most Chameleon sounding song is the last one, Saviors Are a Dangerous Thing, and that song usually gets some praise even if people diss the album. I think this is better than people are suggesting. It can't really sound like the Chameleons of the early to mid 80s. I mean, that would be asking a lot. Things change, styles change. I think this is pretty good, but I will be spending more time with it to see what I think. Some interesting art here. And it's on just black vinyl. So I think it's pretty good. I have no complaints, but again, I will take some more time to appreciate it. But the reviews have definitely been mixed. And next, favorite singer of mine, and I'm sure you all know who this is, Gary Numan. A Perfect Circle live. This was recorded at Oval Arena, Wembley, London on May 7th, 2022, and this is phenomenal. I love this record. I have some other live Gary Numan records. I would choose this as my favorite of the ones I have heard and the ones I own. This is definitely, I think it's really good. It's a triple album. It has this triple fold out, which means there's a record in each sleeve, including that hard to access middle panel, which always causes me to rip the sleeve. So let me pull out a couple of these so you can see what's going on. So here, Gary makes a statement about the fact that he retired from live music in 1981 at Wembley Arena, and then finally he's back. So I guess that's the circle, a perfect circle. But yeah, it's an interesting read. And there's the labels. I have always really appreciated Gary Numan. I didn't always like everything he's done, but most things. There was a period of time where he put a lot of saxophone in things, which is strange. This record case, by the way, is a bit longer than typical, but that's fine. So I'll try to get these other ones out of here. This is the middle record. And the last one has images of, I believe, his daughters. I should have double-checked that. Family members of some sort. I think this is getting good reviews, though, overall. Yeah, Persia Newman, Raven Newman, Echo Newman appear on this record. And it covers pretty much everything. It goes right back to the early days. So it starts with Intruder, as most recent studio record, but then dips back into metal, films, appears on here, Down in the Park, Every Day I Die, My Name is Ruin, Cars, Me I Disconnect From You, Wear Glass, M.E., Our Friends Electric, wraps it out. So I think there's 24 tracks or so. Really excellent. I recommend this. If you're a Gary Numan fan, I think you'll appreciate this. The recording sounds really great. It's mastered well. It sounds really fantastic. And so, to Canada now, with a band I've mentioned before, and that is Sloan. And this is based on the bestseller from 2025 again. So I think the Newman record was 2025 too. A lot of recent stuff here. And I was happy to find this. Pleased that they're still making music that sounds great. They're a Canadian rock band. Some say indie, some say alt, but power pop maybe. But they're definitely a rock band. And they have not slowed, well, they may have slowed down, but they have not lost anything. They're still making terrific music that sounds great. There's a nice, I'm pretty sure this is Toronto scene there. The hype sticker says, featuring translucent light blue vinyl. So there's a curious inner sleeve in here with some funny photos of the band. Jay Ferguson, by the way, has a vinyl community YouTube channel called Jay on Records or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it's called. I have watched it a few times. And then inside we have the lyrics, and this is really good. I mean, it's just what you want for it. It's got those great Sloan riffs, great guitar work. They've always been solid. I don't think they've ever released a bad record. I think this is equally good to some of their other music. I think it's great. So they're still moving along with that, and now possibly the most unknown record in this pile. Well, maybe there's two, but this is Parade Ground, The Golden Years, which is a compilation of singles from this band. Now, you might wonder, who's Parade Ground? Well, they are a Belgian synth pop duo. In fact, let me read you the hype sticker. It says, compilation of icy cold wave and synth pop by Belgian duo spanning 1981 to 1988, featuring Front 242 and Wire. So these are all the A-sides from their singles released in that time period, which are impossible to find. They released one album in that period. They released some singles, and they made connections with Front 242 and Wire, as indicated there, but they stopped recording in 1988, and they didn't put their second record out until much later, I think in the year 2000, somewhere in the 2000s. They're brothers, a duo, brothers here, and really interesting. Like they continued to do things when they stopped recording music. They worked with two people from Front 242. I think it was two from Front 242, as I mentioned, Wire, and but they didn't record any music. They were interested in other things like art and that and whatnot. And eventually they came back and recorded new music. So this came out in 2011 originally. This is the 2025 repressing, and it comes in this. It comes with this insert that's stapled here. Probably don't want to staple in your record, but anyway, this is a statement from Daniel B. from Front 242, who talks about how they met them, and they were only 15 or 16 at the time, these brothers. He says that's the impression we had. They would talk about music and art, and so that's the meeting of them, two Belgian bands. And then there's a kind of a visual discography of some of their early singles, which I have said are impossible to find. I've never seen one, but these great tracks like Moan on the Sly, I Shut My Eyes, Retired, etc. Really great. On 12-inch mostly. I think they're on 12-inch, or some were on their EP or their LP. And then lyrics and a couple of photographs. Open this up. So yeah, pretty cool collection of singles from this band on this cool Dark Entries label. So that is great. I'm so happy to find that. So that's Parade Ground, The Golden Years. And to wrap it up, here's Parade Ground, The Hidden Side. So this is B-sides and some unreleased tracks from Parade Ground, who, obviously had some influence from Kraftwerk, among others. Probably Can, but I'm not sure. There's the inner sleeve, or inner sheet, and then the washing machine is gearing up over there. Parade Ground. So, I guess sometimes B-sides are a little more experimental than the A-sides, maybe. But if you were to ask me, which do I prefer, the Golden Years or the Hidden Side, I'm going to have to say that I prefer the Hidden Side. They're both great, but there's something about the tracks in here that just I find a little more interesting. They're both interesting. By the way, you can stream these. They're on YouTube. I don't know if they're on any other services, but I do like both of them, but I give a slight edge to the Hidden Side of things. So, thanks for watching. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next video.